So what I have heard from God is to explain things like this. So go back to the very, very beginning of time with Adam and Eve, the very first man and woman on earth. Let's not think about the Bible story of Adam and Eve, though, or any other story that you've heard of Adam and Eve. Let's just think of yourself as Eve, and think of, if you're a woman, and if you're a man, think of yourself as Adam. And imagine that you two are the only people in the world. So you're Eve, partner's Adam. It's just you two. You don't have anybody giving you a set of rules. So God gives a man and a woman, but God doesn't give any information or rules to this man and woman. He just makes them into life and then gives them the world. So this man and woman feel an energy that starts to build up in their bodies. They come together, they hug, they embrace each other. They have a natural instinct to touch each other's skin and to embrace one another and to pull their bodies close, and they both feel an energy inside of them. And this energy builds up and causes this man to have an erection. There's also a fluid that comes out of the man's erection. The man doesn't know what this is at the time, okay? He doesn't know anything. This is his first experience. And the woman knows that she feels a certain kind of energy, and that her yoni has a substance that comes out of it as well. And when she's with this man, and they're together and their bodies are together, that substance becomes more and more. And the man and the woman have a natural instinct, because of that massive amount of energy in that part of their body, in their sexual organs. They have a natural instinct to know that this man, and she as well, believes, this needs to go inside of her. So they do this, and naturally have an instinct to know how to move their bodies, and an orgasm occurs, and they realize that they like this feeling. So this is something that they do again and again and again. They like that energy that's building up in their bodies. That energy is love. So some time passes, and the man notices in the woman that her body is changing, and she's gaining some weight and getting a bump in her stomach, and they're like, what is this? And they're just puzzled. And the woman has a natural instinct to care for her body differently. And the man as well has a natural instinct to want to protect her, because he loves that energy, love that they were feeling. They have this, and it makes him want to care for her. And he does, and eventually some months pass, and life comes about of this part of her body that they don't have a name for or know anything about. And from that part of his body, they realize that that act brought forth another one of them, another human. So they realize that the yoni vagina and the lingam, the penis, belong together, that they're sacred, that they create life. They also know that there is also a substance that comes along that alerts them to whether life is coming or not. Menstrual blood, they don't have a name for it, but they know that there's this substance, and that this life that was born out of the woman's body also came out in this fluid. And the same substance, the menstrual blood. So they don't know anything. They have no one telling them anything. All that they can know is what they visually see and experience. So eventually they start to realize that this substance that comes out of the man's body and also the woman's body is a sacred substance that brings forth life. They're curious about where they have come from. They don't know where they've come from. Like all humans, they want to know, where did we come from? Everything in the world that they've experienced, what they could see closest to creation or the beginning of them would be whatever was behind the birth of that child. Whatever is involved in that birth of that child is God and is divinity. So, therefore, if that is what you experienced and that is what you saw, wouldn't you worship the vagina? Wouldn't you worship the penis? Wouldn't you worship menstrual blood? Wouldn't you worship semen? Wouldn't you worship vaginal secretions? Wouldn't you think that all those things right there are of God? And that the first thing before this life, so what is the very beginning? The very beginning is life coming out. So what is the one thing before that? Creation. It's creation. So you know that you have a life, and you know that there was something that created that life, involving these substances and body parts. Wouldn't you worship those things? I know I would. I know that I can very easily put myself in that position and think, if that is what I experienced, and how neat, somebody, really, there was a man and woman that truly experienced that on earth, and how neat is that? So, that is Tantra. That is how I can best explain to you what Tantra is. It's getting back to the very basics, to the very beginning, and keeping it simple with the system. Those were my words from God, how to explain to you what is Tantra, why Tantra, why do we do what we do. And the reason you'll hear right hand, left hand practitioners. I heard some really terrible things online about what considers a right hand or a left hand practitioner. It has been my understanding, what I have been taught, is that left hand practitioners, and that's what I am, it is that the woman is on the left and the man sits to the right of the woman. So traditionally, the queen will sit to the right of her king, the woman sits to the right of her husband. But in Tantra, the woman holds that position. The man sits to the right, and the worship is of the woman. Let's think again about Adam and Eve and how Adam saw Eve with this baby in her body, and he could see that her body, he knew that he helped in that, but he saw that her body is what carried and brought forth and delivered life. So he saw her as God. And why would he see her as anything less? Why would he see her as anything less? So he worshiped her. He worshiped her. He saw she brought life into the world. I'm her helper. I helped her do that, but she sustained that life in her body, and then she brought that life forth from her body. Before I do anything, I honor and I worship her, and I honor and I worship her, Yoni, and I also understand that my body helped participate in that, so I worship my body as well. I understand these sacred substances that help to create life, and they are divine and sacred, and they do carry life within them. They carry life within them. That's really neat. So he worshipped her, and all was well. He worshipped her and cared for her and that life that she brought. She in turn worshipped him, and then they brought forth more life and continued to worship each other. So that is my belief, my deep divine understanding of how Tantra began. Why Tantra? Nobody's told me that story. I've never heard anyone say that. That was God delivered that to me. I asked for answers, and that is what I was given. So I believe that is how Tantra started, and that is why Tantra, why divine worship of the women. I hope that helps all of you. I hope that you meditate on what I've said to you, and that give it some thought, and just see how that information feels for you. So I'm so grateful to have you guys listening to me and asking me to make videos about certain things. And I'll try to get to all of your requests in time. Happy Friday. I'm just, like I said, so grateful for all of you. Have a beautiful, blessed evening. Be safe. God bless all of you. Namaste.